Hello there, and welcome to the Social Buzz, a weekly talk show that discuss social issues, sparking debate and interest in our society today. Jabula Ncube is my name. In Zimbabwe, an emerging crisis of suicide is shedding light on the struggles of men facing in silence. While such attention is being given in women empowerment and gender-based violence against women, while a growing number of men in Zimbabwe is suffering in silence, in abuse and being victims at the same time, yet no one to speak to, yet they decide to take their lives, and this has caused a lot of spike in suicidal cases in Zimbabwe, and this is the issue that we're going to talk about today. Joining me in the studio is Dr. Bishop Meki. Welcome to the show, Doctor.
Thank you so much, JB. Thank you, viewers.
Also amongst us is Mr. Fazo Meki, who is a counseling psychologist, and we also have in the midst Rugare.
Hey.
Right. And we are talking about
yeah, it's a very somber
issues.
issue, hey? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very somber issue today.
And Miss Meki, when this topic pops in your mind, what do you think of about that man, about that family which has been left alone?
Thank you very much, JB. It's not what comes into mind when this question comes. I think right there, that take-off point is where the error lies. It should not only come into thought or into practice when it's a question that is posed. The same way we wake up every morning and we brush our teeth, we eat, and go to work and also eat and coast. Not everyone eats in the morning. It's the same way we need to check on our mental health. It's the same way we need to start talking about men's mental health. And I think one important factor for us to remember is there is no health without mental health, and your mental health is just as important as your physical health. And the absence of conversation surrounding men's mental health, I think I would like to pose to those that are in women empowerment and all of those other women programs that are there. They are great, by the way. But the question is, who are we mentoring those women for?
There's no health without men's mental health. We need to keep on talking about this. Coming to you, Dr. Bishop Musa, let's talk about the upbringing of a man. Has men been brought up in a way that he can sustain life challenges, he can stand for himself? We understand culturally there's this connotation that muruma achemi indoda akayikhali, muruma anoshingirira, muruma abuditse misodzi. Is this not what is leading to all this?
Exactly. Thank you. You can note that when a young man is being raised, they are raised in a way a bit different from the way a young woman is being raised. Men are mistakenly thought to be strong, but we forget that we've got different areas of strength. So when we say men are strong, we are not talking about mental strength. Maybe we are talking about men being masculine.
All right.
And we confuse that with mental strength. So we pay little or less attention to the mental stability of a young man as they grow. So when a young man is growing up, already they've got pressure and they are already failing to express it. Why? Because they will be considered a weakling.
So in other words, we are saying we need to encourage men to talk about it, to be open about it.
Exactly. We need also to encourage schools because these are places where they grow up. Let's talk about mental health even in young boys so that they know as they grow that it's not a problem to cry. It's not a problem to express how you feel.
Coming to you, Meki, as a counseling psychologist, there are quite a number of issues that you face day in, day out of patients or clients who come for counseling. In comparison, what is it that has been happening long back that is also still prevalent in today's society, still prevalent in today's men?
Okay, so I think, as Bishop rightfully said, it starts with the grooming. When a boy falls down when he's young, but when a girl falls down, the whole household comes to a standstill.
Yes.
Sorry, even the dad comes and picks up the little girl and to my sweets, and. So this boy is growing up in a society where he's already poised for childhood trauma. And this trauma is uncommunicated because there's no one to usher him into a world of it's okay to talk. It's okay, because I also think it's unfair for us to just say, Bishop Chitanga Ekuchema now, because you've never been in that, you don't even know how to cry. Even at a funeral, you'll find to this day, men are the last to cry. And when they cry, if you look at it, you wonder, is it still just because Tafaza has just died? Or it's like everything comes into play, like, oh my God, this is the only opportunity I have to cry. No one will judge me. Let me cry.
So there you are, viewers at home. Mukaona baba wachichema, musaba jaji, vasiye vacheme, sezvinongeta mwana sekana. In coming to you, Rugani, how do you perceive this situation where men resort to taking their lives to end their problems? Is it the way to end their problems? Is the best way to end your problems?
No, JV, it's not the best way to end your problems. And it starts from a societal level as well as a family. You need to, in as much as they've spoken, Bishop and the council have spoken about them talking about this, it starts from the family. Because in the family unit, if you don't talk to the children, if the children are not accustomed to speaking up their mind, when will they actually learn that it's okay to speak up? So that starts from mwana chirimudiki. Kuti okay, fine, normalize the emotions. Mwana pano chema paipa urucheme. Try to understand. Let them articulate it, because the moment they become comfortable enough to articulate, when they face those problems, you then find it easier to talk about that. I have a son, and I have tried to raise him in a way where he embraces his emotions, and I allow him. I had my brother come in this other time. My son was crying. She was, toughen up. I said,
Okay.
Don't leave him, because he's allowed to feel that. He's feeling that. And then I sat him down and I asked, why are you crying? And then we were able to track it. So at least if we have that foundation where they can identify this is the thing that's there, and then this has caused that, as they grow older, they can actually enunciate as older men.
That comes to the end of the first segment, where we're exploring where this is coming from and how best we can tackle these issues. Remember, we're at a point where, as a society, we're encouraged to allow men to explore. Ngativumele ivana baba ukuthi vacheme, asivumele no baba ukuthi bayibekhala ngoba yindlela ke yokubana ke bayibe sibakhona ukuthi bayibe suthiseka, begcine ke bekhipha ke okusenhlizweni, hayikhona ukuthi bagcine ke bezibulala. Ndonzela chethe ukuthi bana baba okwanze kusununguka ngathi khuruzela nevana baba ukuthi basununguke kuchema ehethu apho je kucheme saka bachipukutha umisodzi yacho. Don't go away. Let's come back to the second segment, where we'll explore measures and other factors which lead to suicidal trends amongst men. Welcome back, viewers. Those who were not with us in the first segment, we explored where these suicidal issues come from or emanate from. We noticed that upbringing in men that men do not cry, upbringing in men that men are strong. But Bishop Musa highlighted that this strength is masculine, it's not psychological. And our psychologist counselor here highlighted the issue of men being psychologically weak and women being more empowered. And who are we empowering? These women too. And Rugari also highlighted the issue, giving an example of her son that, look, I allow my son to express himself. This is what we expect us as communities to do amongst our families. And as we proceed, Dr. Musa, situations and circumstances surrounding male issues, male health issues leading to suicidal trends. What are some of these issues? I understand the social media is also playing a pivotal role in encouraging men to take their lives. At one point, I saw an individual recording himself taking his life. How do we end? How do we take social media in play in taking our lives?
Okay. There are many reasons why a lot of men are taking their lives. I think the first one, before I go to social media, it is about infidelity. It seems as though men, as they are being raised, they are not prepared to handle disappointment.
Yes.
They are not prepared to handle being cheated on. You know, when Skana is being prepared to go kumurume wake, vanotonzi varume vese vanoita chifambi, so iwe semudzimai eshingirira mimba yako and all that, they are prepared for what then comes. But men, they don't even know what to do when they have been cheated on. I've always taught in many gatherings, cinema couples, and I've taught women when you have cheated on your husband, the first thing that I advise you to do is to walk away from the man that you've cheated on. And many women were like, but Bishop, why is it that you are like advising us to leave and you're not advising men to leave when they've cheated? I'm like, men, when they've been cheated on, they don't even know how to handle you. And at the end of the day, they end up either taking your life or taking their own life. Why? Because they don't even know when you've been cheated on. Why? Because when a man has been cheated on, it is speculated that the man has not been good enough in bed. So that's why the woman is going out of marriage to have satisfaction. So it becomes a shame to the men when they've been cheated on.
And our counselor is here, Madam Meki. These situations, these circumstances have knocked on your door several times. How have you managed to assist those affected?
Thank you, JB. So whenever an issue crops up, it's not the issue that has cropped up that you're looking at.
Yeah.
It's what lies behind that issue. It's most women's dream to be happily married, to be in a marriage, or to have a partner. And when something goes wrong, way back, it was almost unheard of a woman to cheat. Yes, it used to happen, but it was almost unheard of. So nowadays, there's a common saying, "Shiria bvutareke." Zvinotaurika. Asi to what extent? Because shiria bvutareke, then what? Because at the end of the day, shame comes back. And unfortunately, even if I am the one to have cheated and claim that, no, it's because Bishop was ill-treating me, society is harsh towards a woman.
Yes.
It will still be my fault for cheating, for being ill-treated. Yes. So we don't look at the cheating per se. We look at the underlying cause. What is the root? And like Bishop said, it's good to partially separate the two and understand. Give me your side of the story. Give me your side of the story. And then I'll bring you back together and take tidbits that can work towards a common understanding. And common understanding doesn't mean the ultimate, because the ultimate power does not lie within a psychologist or any other practitioner. It lies within the couple.
But at the same time, it's encouraged that if you have issues, you find the other person that you can
A
talk to
third
and share.
party, a neutral party. Yes. So that's how therapists would ideally deal with such a situation. And then the conclusion or the final decision lies between the two. Are they going to continue? Are they going to separate? But whichever decision they make, we need to ensure that both parties, if separation is what they've chosen, they're separating amicably. Though amicably is in quotes because it's relative. And then also ensuring that their mental safety is secured and none of them are going to either injure themselves or the next person, given whichever decision they would have chosen.
There you are, viewers. We are encouraged to find a third party to talk to. I understand even the Zimbabwe Republic Police has always been encouraging men and women to resort to discussions and finding the third party as pastors, counselors, a friend, a family member to intervene and find solutions rather than taking their own lives. And Rugari, are we concluding that men are weak since they resort to taking their lives instead of taking head-on situations that they are facing?
No, JB, men are not weak at all. I concur with what the bishop said about how men are failing to manage the pressures. And you then also find issues like you said, social media. Social media comes into play because they don't have places to run to.
Right.
So now they feel like I've got an audience, I've got a captive audience that can finally listen to me, whether they judge me or not. At least now I have someone who will hear me, which is why they then go and end up using social media as the tool where they, take their lives publicly. Yeah.
Well, there we are, viewers. When we come to the third and last segment, we'll explore more ways of how men can overcome situations they face in their lives, because it is so alarming that the head of the family, most families today, you can concur with me, have lost a relative through suicide. Vazhinji vatora upenyu hwavo nekuda kwokuti vari kutya kunyara. Vazhinji vatora upenyu hwavo nekuda kwokuti varemerwa, vakundikana, vari kukundikana kuti vange vachiudza mumwe munhu. Abaningi seveteteka impilo zavo, siyazi kuti ezimulini konapo baningi bayakhala. Ikakhulu-ke udaba lesikhuluma ngalo, ikakhulu nxa imuli yakho ibe lumuntu othetheke impilo yakhe ngokuzibophela kumbeni ukunathi ijefu, uyazi ukuthi ubuhlungu bakhona-ke bungabe bunjani. Well, don't go away, because when we come back, we have a remedy which we believe is going to assist the Zimbabwean society to get over these suicidal trends amongst men. Welcome back to the third and final segment of Social Buzz. Jabulani Ncube is my name, and for those who are just joining us, we are talking about this topical issue of suicidal trends, which are at an alarming rate amongst men. In the studio, I'm with our counseling psychologist, counselor. You know, when you've got a psychologist amongst you, you feel really comfortable. We've got Miss Meki there amongst us. We also have an ordained man of God, Dr. Musa. He's there with the spiritual healing, the spiritual ordainment that he has, which he is impacting on us as Zimbabweans. And I also have a broadcaster like me, Rugari. We know as broadcasters, we talk, we encourage.
Yes, we do encourage.
We motivate as well.
Yes. And we also come across these as we're broadcasting, because we have listeners, viewers who reach out to us, and they also share their stories as well.
Well, coming to you, Dr. Musa, how best can we encourage men? How best can we encourage the society to lead men to have a behavioral change? How can we accommodate men in our society in terms of difficult situations, in terms of circumstances?
Okay, I think this message, I should just direct it straight to the man that is watching us right now. I want you to know that, yes, you have been designed to be in charge of family, taking care of everybody, making sure that everyone is okay. But I want you to know that there's somebody that you've been neglecting for a long time, and that person is you. I want you to know that you also matter. You know, society may be slow to understand and to embrace you with your weaknesses as a man. But I want you to learn and embrace yourself. If I go to my Bible, there's a moment when David was being neglected by everyone because they had lost their families. But the Bible says David encouraged himself in the Lord. So what can I say to you today? Dzimweni dzenguva imbobuda uende out. Just take that $10 and squander it. Just buy that phone you want to buy. Just buy that car and enjoy yourself. You need to take care of your mental health. Your mental health is your responsibility first before people come in. Because my counselors akazouya kukubatsira kuti uve ne a proper mental health and stability musoro mako, iwewe usingazvikoshes at the same time, that effort will be in vain. So men, let's embrace ourselves first and love ourselves.
Men, let's embrace ourselves and love ourselves. Let's embrace ourselves first. Iswana baba tisu takakosha. Tisati takosheswa ni mwe munari pedyo nesu. Tunofana kuzvigashira kuti tine umare watinawo. Hanzi varume veumare.
Exactly.
Varume veumare.
Men of valor.
Men of valor.
Yes.
Vanodaro. Vanonjera shoko ra Mwari. Coming to you, our counselor, so psychologist counselor Musa. What barriers come in men's way in order to attain some help or in order to gain help when they are distressed?
I think I just want to do something very, very simple here.
Yes.
And ask everyone to just do this. And say Ndini barrier.
Ndini
barrier.
barrier.
Yes.
All right.
It's you, it's me. We are the barriers towards men seeking for mental health services, because we will judge, we will stigmatize, we will stereotype, and we will continue to say Ajina Bas. But like Bishop rightfully said, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Kana cup isina chuna haukwani kudira. Bishop mukati murikunzwa nyota ndakabata cup pano ndikakupangurirai musina chunu. You're still going to be thirsty.
Yes.
And you will get angry, and I will get angry that you are angry with me. So it's the same scenario with men. The barriers that are there are you and I. Let's stop judging. Let's stop saying something. Sometimes just listen.
And
Usataura kana usingazivi zvinoda kutaura, chingoteerera.
but we are living in a society, Rugare. She spoke about stigma, and obviously I'm within a family, I'll feel stigmatized if I share with them. I'm with my workmates, I'll feel stigmatized if I share with them. How best can one cope with stigma? And if one is stigmatized, what's the best way to do?
I think you always need to find a neutral party. Like you said, we are broadcasters. And then sometimes you're on air and you have a listener who comes through and says, I need to talk to someone. And even though we are not equipped for that, we avail ourselves and we listen to them, because that's all they need. They need that one person who's willing to listen. So step outside. If you find that you're afraid of the stigma, step outside of your social circle. There's always a safe space. Somewhere, somehow, there's someone who's willing to listen to you and not judge you and just allow you to talk.
And that self-introspection is key, as Dr. Musa spoke about. One, getting that $10 and go and buy something to spoil yourself. Go and buy that car. Go and be comfortable wherever you are. Dr. Musa, we are concluding the program. What else do we give men? Are they also encouraged to come to the church service, even if he's drunk? Is he also free to come and see a man of God in his pain, in his sorrow?
Yes, zvakakoshesa izvozvo kuti varume muuye titaure. It doesn't mean that you are weak when you come to see Dr. Musa and say, man of God, can I talk to you? You go and see our wonderful counselor here. Say, my sister, talk to me. It doesn't make you less of a man. And the other thing that you can do, I can't go without telling you this. Please be honest with your wife about the school that your child is going. If you can't afford it, be open about it. Don't go and take rimbadzo, have these pressures, be depressed and then kill yourself. Why? Because by killing yourself, you are leaving a responsibility. That child is going to be worse than you. So at the end of the day, you have not ended the situation. Actually, you have escalated it to the next level. So make sure that you are living within your means. Don't allow social media pressure. GD6 and all that, and you've got pressure that you can't do the same for your family. No, you are not them. We come from different backgrounds. Some of us, we are breadwinners. Some of those people, they are not breadwinners. Maybe Maria you are the father in your generation. Saka ngati gamchire kusiyana kwatakaita izvozvo zvinoita kuti tigone kuva content with ourselves.
I believe this message is meant for ladies. Miss Musa, is that not so? Because women are the one who always vatengra fridge, vavurirwa dore mota, vazodai, giving pressure to men. What are your conclusion? What is your conclusion, and what advice are you giving to women who give pressure to men?
JB, first of all, ndewe kupi wakadziwa. Vachiriko.
Varipo.
Anyway, what I want to say to women, the same way yandinogona kuenda kuna rugare kungotaura randomly, let's allow that very person wadoti agwa your shoulder to lie on, to cry on, to lean on. Allow him to let your shoulder be his to lean on as well. And my parting words are, varume munoti kutsvakwe ndebvu munodzimurana. Kokutambudzika kwe-mental health yenyu munoita sei? Ngatimbochinjai titi varume kutambudzika kwamunoita dzimuranai. Zvambotaura narugare haushayi umwe anongokuteerera chero kutomira paside peroad wongotanga kutaura zvakakosha kungo kuti uzviburitse. Then the last thing panyaya yataurwa naJB, baba vangu vaigaroti usaenzanisa nguo nedzatarubva. I grew up looking for this tarubva. Only now when I've grown up I understand. I'm like, oh my God, this is what he meant. So to all men, musaenzanisa nguo nedzatarubva. Run your race. You are your own champion, you are your own leader. And the most attractive man is the man that takes care of his mental health, a man that is honest about his emotions. Hamusi simbi, hamusi njanji, munotorwadziwawo.
And the most attractive woman is that woman who allows her men to lean on. Is that not so, Rugari?
Yes, it is. And I'm telling you, when you find a woman who's willing to listen to you, she will be your safe space. Because sometimes men are afraid that do you know, if you show me your wounds, I am never going to go out there and expose you to people, because you have shown me your wounds. I will actually cover you. And I also just want to encourage men to think beyond themselves. I know that sometimes in that circumstance you feel like, oh my gosh, this is the end of the world for me. But when you take your life, I lost my cousin last year. He took his life. We are still reeling from it because he did it in a very brutal way. We still have questions. You leave people with questions because now we were asking, where did we fall short? He never spoke to anyone. And yet if some of us would go and try and talk to him, but he wouldn't open up. So sometimes those people, when they come to you and they're like, hi, maybe they've been sent just for you.
Indeed, those that come with an ear, you need to open up your mind, you need to open up your eyes and give them that opportunity to talk to you. Tinovimba kuti nasonoyo nyaya yatabata panapa yana baba vanotora upenyu hwavo yakwanzwa tinge chibatsira muri yeZimbabwe. Iwe wava neimwe pfungwa intembage sizageleke ngobuningi bethu-ke njengoSapho lweZimbabwe. Njalo-ke labo-ke kade becabanga-ke ukuthi baye sibake kanje, intembage selicabanga kuhle-ke ukuthi hatshi akupheleli kuwe kulosendo lawenu kune uyo neuyo neuyo ari kutarisira kubva kwauri, hazvipereri pauri chete. Uye mhuri dzacho dzine vakatora upenyu hwavo tinongoti aiwa, motarisa rakanaka ramangwana, mozorodzwa pfungwa dzenyu. Zvakaitika, ngativei nepfungwa yekuti ngazvidarike, siqhubekele phambili ke sikhohlwa ke ngakho ngoba ke kwenzakala. Nekuti tikatarisa bishop, mhuri zhinji izvozvizvi dzatodzimbirwa nenyaya yatataura nezvayo, asi tiri kuvakurudzira kuti ngavagashire zvakaitika. Totarisa kuti mune ramangwana hatizoive nemumwe mumhuri medu anotora upenyu hwake. We look forward not to have similar circumstances happening or occurrences happening again in our families. There you are, viewers. We've come to the end of today's program, Social Bonds, where we were discussing about the rise of suicidal cases amongst men. A special thanks to our psychologist and counselor, Miss Musa. A special thanks as well to our ordained man, Dr. Bishop Musa rather, and our counselor, Miss Mek, who has been with us, and Rugare. I believe, viewers, the next segment will also be for you. And as Zimbabweans, we keep on encouraging each other. We keep on building each other. Chabla Ngube is my name. Goodbye.